Oh, what's the name? Ooh. Pause. Give me 1 second, y'all. It is. I think I got enough in there. What I got? 20. Let all y'all come in. Take y'all time and come in. Peace and love. Peace and love. Okay, what's up? Yeah, there y'all go. Of course, I forgot my charger. Yeah. Here we go. There we go. All right, peace. Yeah, long time no see. I don't know when was my last live. It's been a couple months, man. Let me see. It was I think it was around my birthday might have been my last one. That was November and it's about to be March. All right. So, how y'all doing? Usually give it time for everybody to jump in, but I ain't even about to do that today. I'm just about to get to it. But peace and love to y'all. What's going on? I'm going to talk about melanin today because we're about to wrap up Black History Month and what makes Black people Black, right? So we're going to go into a melanin presentation. I'm just going to go in. People will come in as they see fit. I'll holla at y'all, throughout it. But without further ado, I'm just about to get cracking. So I appreciate y'all for joining in. And let's see. Let's do that. Boom. All right. Now, I wonder, when I do try to do this, does this fill up the whole screen? We're about to see. I'm going to do it like this. Into full screen. Like that. Okay, now when I do that, let me see how it looks to y'all. 1 second. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right. All right, so that's how it looks. So you still see me. All right. I'm going to come out of it real quick just to make sure y'all hear me well, though. Hold on. All right, can y'all hear me well? Is my sound good before I get started? Because I was about to just take off. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Yes, I would still recommend the Happy, and you want to jump on it because they just came up with a new design. I'll be doing a video on the new design very soon. Now they got it looking like a regular necklace. It's dope. All right, all is well. Bet. All right, let's go, y'all. All right, this is a presentation I did at the Pigment Power Conference a couple weeks ago. And yeah, they really enjoyed it. All right, so melanin, threshold of field and form, the mustard seed, the somatid, and the architecture of resurrection biology. This is an extrapolation out of my book. Specifically, the chapter where I go into melanin, my book is kind of like a ladder. And this is just one of the steps as we head back to God. So hope y'all enjoy it. Here we go. Night, melanin, the threshold of field and form, the mustard seed, the somatid, and the architecture of resurrection biology. Melanin is not a pigment. It is the first biological yes to creation. The doorway where the unformed field becomes organizable life. UHP 5D canon. UHP stands for Unified Healing Physics. That is my book. UHP 5D. So y'all could prepare for me to drop that bomb. All right. So it's not a pigment, it's a doorway. All right. So think of the field as the source, right? Counter space, plane of inertia, 0 point energy. This is that connection to God. You know, we deal with it all the time. Even when you're driving in a car, you might not notice, but it's not a continuous picture that you're viewing as you drive. It's actually little spaces in between because we shoot back and forth. It's just that our brain stitches it all together. So melanin is the biological interface between the unmoved field source and living structure. It acts as the black sun, absorbing entropy, radiation noise, and re-radiating it as coherent biological instruction. So the hierarchy would be field, melanin, the somatid, fascia, DNA, cell. That is the order things go. And as we go through this presentation, you'll get a better and better idea. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. All right. And okay. The UHP 5D ladder. Once again, UHP stands for Unified Healing Physics, 5 dimensions. All right. Right now, we are going to be focusing on the 8th part of this ladder, which is melanin. But we have the unmoved field, we have dielectric stress, we have directional geometry, we have binary bifurcation, we have elemental regulators, hydrogen and water, carbon rings, indolic dawn, melanin, somatids, fascia, cells and DNA, organs and systems, the biofield, 5D coherence, the mustard seed. You know, the mustard seed is actually amongst 9 with the somatids. Biology is downstream of the field. Step 8 acts as the bridge between the physics of the ether and the chemistry of the body. So before biology, there's geometry. Okay, so there's a stillness, and we hear about this a lot, you know, in all of the ancient philosophies, allegories, theories, stories, folklore, and creation stories. You know, everything starts with a stillness, an ocean, you know, a movable, omnipotent kind of essence, right? Where everything is still and everything's quiet and potential arises. So stillness just represents potential. You know, when you look out on the ocean, you see all of this water, right? And anything can happen, right? You can see a shark's fin, you can see a whale jump up, you see a mermaid, you can see some flying fish, you can see waves come, you can see anything pop up out of there. It's like anything and everything in your mama is underneath the surface of that water. Anything and everything is under the surface of that water. the potential of anything and everything is under the surface of that water. Until you stick your head down in that water or it pops up above that water, you don't know. But step zero is the unmoved field. It's ether, it's counter space, it's pure potential before manifestation. From there, you have dielectric stress. Okay. Dielectric stress is the first tension. Stillness polarizes into compression versus expansion. So there's tension that exists within inside the ether, and this is how the field, magnetism, electricity, all these things start to become. Now we have bifurcation, which is the fork in the road, the split. All right. And this is the fundamental decision between coherence, regeneration, and drag entropy. The logic of one and zero, the centripetal and the centrifugal, the expansion, the compression. All right. This all comes from the stress first, right? So there's stillness, there's tension, and there's bifurcation. Creation exists as possibility under constraint. Geometry precedes chemistry. Now, elemental regulators and the indolic dawn, oxygen and nitrogen. Okay, not just elements, but agents of consciousness. Oxygen governs the metabolic flame. Nitrogen forms the thrones of the indol, and the indol are the heterocyclic molecules of nitrogen and carbon combining to create things like tryptophan, tryptamine, you know. And when you see this ring molecule right here, this is a heme molecule. This is also synonymous with a chlorine molecule, you know, or melanin. These are all these rings that constitute different pigments. If there's iron in the center of these four ends, which stand for nitrogen, you will have a heme molecule for hemoglobin. If you have I'm sorry. If you have a magnesium in the center of this, you will have a chlorophyll molecule. If you put a cobalt in here, then you have cobalamin or B12, right? And then if you put some other magic up in here, then you have yourself melanin. So the N's are nitrogens, the C's are carbons, the H are hydrogens. So hydrogen and water, the medium of coherence, protium, which is field responsive, versus deuterium, which is mass drag. Protium, deuterium, tritium are all hydrogens, but they're different isotopes, meaning that it's still just the electron, proton, but what differs is how many particles are in the nucleus, right? Because the atom has a nucleus and then it has something orbiting around, a potential around it, right? So you got electrons, protons, neutrons. So protium is the type of hydrogen molecule that our body uses in order to get things done for metabolism and health and optimization in our system. That's what hydrogen is for. But protium is what we use the most of. We use deuterium when we're babies to grow exponentially. When we get older, if we have too much deuterium, then that exponential growth turns into the C word. This is why you want things like deuterium depleted water, right? Or eat foods that deuterium deplete. You know, its functionality is depleting deuterium in your body so it's not too much. So deuterium, tritium, protium. Protium means proton, electron. Deuterium means proton, electron, neutron. Tritium means proton, neutron, neutron, electron. All right. So you got one that has one thing in the nucleus, right? So that's pro. You have one that has two things in the nucleus, right? So that's do. And then you got one that got three, right? Which is tri or tritium. Carbon rings, the stable architecture for perception. The indolic dawn, serotonin, melatonin, and tryptamines, the neurochemical interface where time signals enter the biology. Step 8, the black sun of biology. Now, Melanin is a broadband EM absorber, dielectric capacitor, and paramagnetic stabilizer. And that all sounds real fancy, you know. Broadband EM absorber means that it absorbs all frequencies of electromagnetic spectrum. Dielectric capacitor means that it has the ability to store charge from the dielectric. All right. It's able to pull in electricity, pull in power, store that power, use that power in different ways. Paramagnetic stabilizer, paramagnetism means that it is um, it's good with magnetism, you know. So you don't want to be diamagnetic. You got different types of magnet. You got things that are against magnetism, and you have things that are for magnetism. Paramagnetic means that it's for magnetism. It helps to stabilize magnetic fields. If you stabilize magnetic fields, then you're somebody that is responsible for organization and form. So the mechanism, it acts as the black sun, absorbing disorder, excess radiation and charge, and converting it into usable biological order. The result, it is the hidden star inside the organism that precedes blood, nerves, and glands. It is the thermostat of the body's field condition. So, you know, when you're dealing with hemoglobin, you're dealing with chlorophyll, you're dealing with B12, you know, these are all pigmented molecular structures because we deal with light. So I have a presentation coming up on Sunday in Atlanta that's called Neon Guts, the light within. And I'm going to be talking about gut health. Now, most people talk about, you know, prebiotics, um, the microbiome, obviously, you know, the gut villa, the colon, different foods, things you need to eat. I'm going to be talking about the impact of light in regards to the gut, how important light is to the gut. And I'm gonna call it Neon Guts. And if you're interested in Atlanta, y'all should come out. I'm gonna show the flyer near the end of this, so y'all could see whether or not it's something that you're interested in. Okay, so let's go. All right, so the architecture of the inner ocean. Okay, and here you see an image of easy water, easy standing for exclusion zone. It's just a fancy way of saying structured water. This term is from Gerald Pollack because he has a book called The Fourth Phase of Water. So I'm using that as a reference, you know. But if you notice, there are three sheets of hexagons in a lattice formation, lattice meaning like a fence, right? So you see how they stacked up. And because they're stacked up like that, they create a certain resonance, right, with energy by having this geometrical alignment. The real womb in UHP, which is Unified Healing Physics 5D, the womb is not an organ first, it is structured water holding geometry. This is why in the womb we're in water. We are in amniotic fluid. We are suspended in a viscous structured water in darkness within inside our mother. Okay. Water splitting. Melanin splits water to create hydrogen electrons without heat or combustion. Intelligence. Melanin turns water into an intelligent liquid crystal medium capable of holding memory. The root of the biofield. Okay, so the biofield, which I got a lot of chapters in my book, bro. This is everything y'all been asking me for is all in this book. If y'all read this book and ask any questions, I don't got the answer for you. Put it like that. Okay. The biofield begins with melanin. Melanin establishes the first coherent boundary of the organism before organs have fields. Melanin holds the organizational field. The human aura is not cosmetic, it is melanin mediated coherence. The somatid, the immortal architect. The somatid is the indestructible, phase adaptive building block of life. It is the mustard seed of terrain biology. The context. Somatids require a specific terrain condition governed by melanin to unfold. The capability, they function as the switchboard that determines whether the body expresses resurrection through construction or collapse in the form of cleanup. All right. The mustard seed, the mustard seed. Let's see. So let me, we're gonna come right back to that. Let me move that. Let's do this. Share. All right. So I want to show y'all this right now. This is the somatid cycle. Somatids are these indestructible granules. And, you know, I don't think I have to bring the Bible up, but I would assume all of y'all are familiar with the Bible and the mustard seed, having faith of a mustard seed. And the reason why it's used is because it's so small. Mustard seed is, it's like the spice from the Dune movies, right? Small little particles. And apparently from this mustard seed, mustard plants grow, which we'll get into that whole thing shortly. But having the faith of the mustard seed, right? Because life and biophysics is non-linear. So you can have a very small impetus, a very small deposit, a very small thing that ends up becoming something that is just so grandiose, right? So these somatids that exist in our body that are indestructible, they've been found, they've been seen, they've been cataloged. They don't know what they are. They try to burn them, they try to smash them, they try to kill them. They don't die. They multiply. They like baby's kids. So they go through a cycle though. All right. And this is the cycle that they go through. All right. So you got somatids, spores, double spores, bacterial form, double bacterial form, rod form, bacterial form with double spores, bacterial form with granulated double spores, mycobacterial form. Now we get into the fungus, mycobacterial with bubbles, bursting of mycobacterial, ascospore form, young mycelium, adult mycelium, bursting mycelium. All right, let me go to this one. All right, here's another. All right, so when we talk about parasites and microbial infections, bacterial infections, candida, viral infections, we are made to believe that all these things are boogeymen coming from outside of us. But this is why, you know, a lot of the information I've been speaking on my IG, been talking about the terrain assessments, because it's like people have issues and, you know, you have to get assessed properly. And it's not about the boogeyman and the germs. The germ theory is about terrain theory. It's about what is the environment like externally outside your body? What is the environment like inside the body? Let's create some type of homeostasis between those two so that you can yield an optimum state of health. Well, based upon what your terrain is like, and terrain meaning not just your physical environment, but your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, right? This determines what these somatids, what these granules do. So, we'll get into the positive side, but on the negative side, the somatids, they can become spores, they can become double spores, and now you got bacteria. The bacteria can become yeast. All right. And even before the bacteria, you can have virus. So you go from viral, and remember, viruses are nothing more than encapsulated endosomes. They are encapsulated DNA, which as tissue breaks down and cells break down, DNA is just outside. They outside. And they can't just be outside. So they get encapsulated in these bubbles, in these lipid layers, right? So that they can get transported and sent around. And when you take pictures of that, they look like viruses, but they're really just floating around USB files, of genes and DNA. And from these genes, from these instructions, viruses can become bacteria, bacteria can become yeast, yeast can become more complex fungal forms. And from there, you can get into the parasite world, because we sleep on our body. Our body is capable of doing amazing things, amazing works with inside ourselves. And if we do not provide the things that we need, then our body's going to go through cleanup mode. And that's what you're looking at right now. This 16-stage biological transformation model. All right. Anaerobic conditions. Because this is what happens when you're hypoxic and you don't have it. You want aerobic conditions. All right. So let's go back. Because let's see. Got that. I didn't put the flyer up here. Oh, let me go into this one. So when it goes in a positive direction, right, then it goes into coherence, charge stabilization. You get into plasma protein formation, collagen and fascia, macroprotein assembly, organelle genesis, mitochondrial voltage amplification, DNA stabilization, cellular differentiation, tissue architecture formation, immune harmonization, circadian synchronization, regenerative capacity, high redox reserve, field coherence, then terrain mastery. So when the somatids get put in a positive and a optimized and a healthy, beneficial, nutrient dense, nurturing, nourishing environment, this is the particular cycle that it goes through. As opposed to the cleanup crew, it's the construction crew. All right. Let me check on y'all real quick. How y'all doing? What's up? Okay, y'all still there? Cool beans. Love to see y'all. Peace and love to all of y'all. Got a Black History Month sale going on right now too. 33% off on the site. And it's live right now. It's only 3 days though. It ends on Sunday because, wrapping up Black History Month is over, right? So I'm doing a sale in honor of, so y'all could check that out. All right, here we go. The kingdom is like a mustard seed. Mustard seed, mustum ardens, potential on fire, sulfur rich, somatid, indestructible, phase adaptive. The misunderstanding, the metaphor is not about size, it's about potential density, a unit containing the blueprint of the whole. In linguistic decoding, Latin, mustum means fresh potential, ardens, burning, activating, so the potential to set on fire, right? This is the soul, this is the fuel, right? The spirit. Biophysics, just as a mustard seed contains the entire plant family potential, which we're about to get into, which really is going to blow y'all mind. The somatid contains the potential for bacteria, fungi, or regenerative tissue. Quote, the kingdom does not come from outside, it germinates from within the terrain. Okay. the bifurcation, which means the split, the fork in the road, resurrection versus decay. So you have the somatid. High coherence is build mode, stem cells, fascia, regeneration. All right. Terrain condition depends on voltage, light, and redox. Low coherence, clean mode, virus, bacteria, fungus. Real simple. You got a mustard seed, indestructible, inside the milieu of your body. Based on the terrain conditions, which are voltage, light, and redox, you either have high coherence or low coherence. High coherence equates to build mode, low coherence equates to clean mode. Build mode will result in stem cells, fascia, and regeneration. Clean mode results in virus, bacteria, fungus. The choice. The somatid reads the field conditions provided by melanin. Viruses are not enemies. They are somatids in cleanup mode due to soil failure. Come on now. Cruciferous biology, the cross bearers. Now, the reason why I'm talking about cruciferous, because that's the family of the mustard plant. Mustard plants, when they grow, they're called cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous literally means cross-bearing. All right, alchemical fire, these plants like mustard, broccoli, kale, cabbage, all of those collard greens are rich in sulfur, the fire of biology. And in alchemy, there's a trinity, and the trinity of alchemy is sulfur, mercury, salt. Sulfur is the sun, mercury is the moon, the spirit, right? Communication, mind, and the salt represents the physical, the body, the earth. So the salt represents the minerals, enzyme, all that stuff that's inside the food that you get that does you right. Spirit represents usually like water, alcohol, mediums, things like that, that are able to extrapolate, or a solution, so to speak, that's able to pull the properties of that plant into it, while the sun being the source in which the signal comes from that you're even messing with the plant for in the first place. Sulfur activates the NRF2 pathways, and it acts as the redox gatekeeper, signaling the cell to stop oxidative chaos and start regeneration. Tensegrity, the 5D cross, the living lattice. Fascia is the piezoelectric body-wide network. It forms a cross of tension that holds the body in place. When hydrated and charged via melanin, fascia acts as a superconductor for consciousness. It is the structural nervous system. Resurrection is a biological state. Resurrection is not a miracle, it is a field state. It occurs when the somatid remains in construction mode indefinitely due to sustained field coherence. Aging slows, tissue plasticity returns, perception expands. This is the mustard tree where the bird of the air, higher consciousness, lodge. All right, I need to see where is the, let me go back to this. All right, so let's go back to cruciferous, meaning cross, right? So the mustard seed is the somatid, and the somatid, based on its environment, is able to become all these things. The mustard seed, the mustard plant, was one of the main plants that man manipulated in order to take one plant and yield all these other things. So you took a mustard plant and you made broccoli. You took a mustard plant and you made cauliflower. You took a mustard plant and you made kale. You took a mustard plant and you made collard greens. You took a mustard plant and you made kohlrabi. You took a mustard plant and you made Brussels sprouts. You took a mustard plant and you made cabbage. Right? And there's even more than that. Right? Broccolini. Right? And all types of others. But all of these plants, these cruciferous vegetables that are specifically designed and assist in helping your immune system, your glutathione levels, all came from the mustard seed. Just keep that in mind, the crossbearer. So from field to form to freedom, melanin holds the field, somatids read the field, sulfur clears interference, NRF2, fascia structures the body, coherence resurrects the body. Sulfur is also very powerful because it is what binds to vitamin D when you're in the sun. This is where the whole sulfur means the sun thing, because sulfur is in the air. And when you're outside and you're getting sun exposure and the cholesterol and the layers of your skin become vitamin D by way of the ultraviolet B light from the sun, it binds with the collagen in the air. And because it binds with the collagen in the air, now you don't need the vitamin D to be encapsulated in some type of lipid bubble to pass through your bloodstream. It binds with sulfur, and sulfur can carry it freely all out in the open, willy nilly throughout the body. That's what sulfur do, So fascia structures the body. Coherence is the resurrection body, a unified mechanism where the seed is activated by the field to build a temple. The seed is within you. Nothing needs to be added. Remove interference, restore the field, and the seed will grow. The kingdom is not a place, it is a terrain state. And yes. So that is the presentation. Short and sweet and to the point. Give you all an understanding of melanin and the mustard seed and the somatids. And I'm here for a few questions. I'll answer some questions for sure. And from there I'll be rolling out. I need to this is some water. I'll give y'all a second to write some questions while I pull something up. Is this okay? Here we go. All right, so yeah, that's the that is the event. Vegan Soul Sunday, Spring Clean Your Plate, Gut Health Edition, presented by Vegetaste. So I'm a speaker. It's 12 to 4, 6600 Old National Highway. Plant-based foods is going to be there. Wellness talks. I think there's going to be a panel as well, if I'm not mistaken. But as I said before, I'll be speaking about neon guts is my presentation name. I look forward to breaking the neon guts down. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then let's see. Remove that. And then lastly, I got as I said before, I got a sale going on last 2 days, Black History Month. If y'all are interested in any of your favorite products, I say jump on it. The herbs are already mad low. I got a lot of bundles, packages, all types of stuff like that. soionicsbotanicals.com. So check that out. And then lastly, if y'all go to my Instagram, hit the link in the bio so y'all can get a terrain assessment if anybody is dealing with any issues in particular that y'all need assistance with. Oh yeah, maybe I can talk about that real quick. This right here, yeah. Let's go. No, not you. Move that. Screen. Yeah, that's So I want to show you this real quick. Yeah, so this right here, I'm gonna close on this. I'm not gonna close on this. I'm still gonna answer some questions, but I'm gonna close in terms of what I have to present to you. And this right here is I've spoken on this before, and it's called the MgATP particle accelerator. This is how you transmute elements and minerals in your body. And what I mean by that is, as much as we eat foods, take herbs and nutrition in order to get minerals, our body also has the ability to make minerals, like turning calcium to phosphorus and phosphate to iron and magnesium to, we're able to make our own minerals. And how we do so is with the ATP molecule, which the white lines with the HCs and OHs and the MGs, those are actually ATP molecules, and they're stacked on top of each other, kind of staggered, creating a kind of a spiral. And then by doing that, you have this ring of oxygen and you have this magnesium in the center, and it creates this hole. And this hole is able to launch protons like a particle accelerator, like CERN, that smashes into elements and causes the elements to either break down into lesser elements or build up into greater elements. And this is an actual this particle accelerator is nothing that I would say, oh man, y'all came up with this, but no, this is actually in a U.S. Army classified document. This is where I ended up getting the actual images that are converted the images into 3D physical images so that I can showcase it better. But I have more images than this. All this stuff is going to be in the book. But I wanted to just let y'all know as I get ready to sign off that we have the ability to create our own minerals inside the body. And with that being said, I will now digress and get into Q&A if there's anything in here. Let's see. Let's see. Nope. No questions. No questions. All right, then. Well, since y'all don't got no questions for me, I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. I'll be back sooner than later. I say rewind on this and check it out, man. Love and life. Peace.